Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Hello, good Saturday evening, folks. Thank you so much for tuning into the Q2 Weekend News. I'm Dustin Klemann. A possible turning point in the Russia investigation. Special counsel Robert Mueller has filed the first charges in his investigation into possible Russian meddling in the 2016 presidential election. Kim Hutcherson has the latest details.
A senior Trump official said Saturday that the White House will have no comment on news that charges have been filed in the investigation led by special counsel Robert Mueller. A federal grand jury has approved Mueller's first charges in the investigation. The former FBI director has been focused on possible Russian meddling in the 2016 presidential election, potential illegal cooperation between Trump's campaign and Russia, as well as possible obstruction of justice by the president. Sources say that anyone charged could be taken into custody as early as Monday. The charges are under seal. What we do know is that these charges were filed Friday. A spokesman for the special counsel's office isn't commenting on the situation. Mueller's team has issued subpoenas for documents and testimony to people involved in the Trump Tower meeting between Russians and Trump campaign officials. The special counsel's team has also examined foreign lobbying conducted by former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort and former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. In addition to Mueller's inquiry, 3 committees on Capitol Hill are conducting their own investigations. I'm Kim Hutcherson reporting.
Meanwhile, President Trump is asking the State Department to accelerate the release of any emails it has involving Hillary Clinton. Officials are still reviewing 40,000 pages of records handed over by the FBI from its investigation of Anthony Weiner. Those files may contain additional work-related emails from Hillary Clinton. Tens of thousands of her emails turned over to the State Department separately have already been released. Trump is also calling upon the Justice Department to lift a gag order of an FBI informant familiar with the Russians' efforts to gain control of U.S. uranium. Hillary Clinton denies direct involvement in approving an Obama administration deal that gave Russia control of 20% of American uranium stockpiles. A source close to the president says his interest in the emails and FBI informant is rooted in a commitment to transparency. A 63-year-old Billings man is dead after a rollover crash near Billings this afternoon. Montana Highway Patrol reports a Chevrolet pickup headed east on Highway 312 veered off the roadway for an unknown reason and rolled multiple times. Both occupants, including a 39-year-old Billings man, were ejected. Crash happened across the street from Mickey's Tavern. The 39-year-old man was transported to the hospital via helicopter. It's unknown if alcohol or drugs are factors, but that is being investigated according to MHP. Speed is considered a factor in this crash. Neither were wearing a seatbelt. Power lines were damaged in the area, and crews were on scenes for repairs. Wild horses have been a part of American West for hundreds of years. They've been federally protected since 1971. But if President Trump's proposed budget passes, that would change. Tens of thousands of them could face the risk of slaughter. Meg Oliver traveled to remote mountains of Utah for more on the controversy.
In Beaver County, Utah, wild horses of every color, from charcoal to caramel, charge across the range. A symbol of the great American West, one that's multiplying by 20% a year.
Just in the last 10 years, we've gone from 30,000 to over 70,000.
What happened?
Within the last 3 years, we pretty much quit gathering.
For decades, the Bureau of Land Management rounded up excess horses and placed them in private ranches and feedlots until they ran out of space.
Now the big fear is that the government will legalize the slaughter of these horses. Under President Trump's proposed budget, the Wild Horse Management Program would lose $10 million in funding. The spending plan would also remove language from a 1971 act that would open the door for wholesale destruction.
They're under attack by our own government.
Wild horse advocate Simone Netherlands has dedicated her life to protecting these majestic Mustangs.
Are there too many wild horses now?
It's absolutely not an overpopulation problem of wild horses. What we have is a discrimination problem.
Across 10 states, 26.9 million acres of public land are set aside for wild horses. Meanwhile, there are 155 million acres for livestock. Deep in the desert mountains outside Milford, Cattle rancher Mark Winch says the range is under attack, with too many horses devouring the forage.
We're trucking cattle 150 miles, whereas in the past we're able to herd them 10 miles.
Do you think that's the answer to slaughter these wild horses?
What do you do with your cats and dogs when there's too many in the city? Do you just let them run rampant?
Wild horse advocates want time to try new types of contraception to control the population. But time is running out. A new federal budget could make scenes like this history. Meg Oliver, CBS News, Beaver County, Utah.
As far as the timeline goes, President Trump is pressuring the House to vote on his budget soon. Now, if it passes Congress, it still needs to be approved in the appropriations bill. We go to weather now. Rob Griggs joining us. Talk a little bit about the fall season, how it's changing. Cooler temperatures on the horizon, though.
Yeah, and a cold front coming through, but it looks like Halloween out there. Check out some of these Facebook photos we got. These are just beautiful. This one coming in from Miles City, Dustin. Is that the creepiest looking tree you've ever seen in your life? Well, Wendy Leahold, it's a great picture. It's a beautiful shot, and it's very Halloweenish tonight, so thank you for that. Meanwhile, Q2's own Asia Gore did a little pumpkin decorating, and she's thrown the gauntlet down. If you have a marvelous creation of a pumpkin or a jack-o'-lantern, post it on our Q2 Facebook page, and let's see what you got. But that was a Marvel pumpkin, Asia, Spider-Man, kind of a Marvel comic sort of thing. My friends Stephanie and Charlotte Robertson did the mother-daughter thing out at Boo at the Zoo. It was the Wicked Witch of the West and Dorothy, and I'll tell you, these are two of the sweetest people in the world. Matt Robertson capturing some of the pictures. Check out the ruby red slippers. Oh my gosh. Charlotte, you were rocking it, let me tell you. Well, I hope you had fun outside at Boo at the Zoo and some of the activities this evening. Cold front coming through. We'll talk about that in just a second. Dustin?
All right, thank you very much, Rob. We'll talk about Boo at the Zoo for a second, but I do want to make a correction on my part. The budget had been passed on Thursday. That is a $4 trillion budget that was made through the House. Again, it still has to go through the Appropriations Committee. Want to be clear on that. Regardless of the long lines, it was perfect weather, as Rob said, for a record-breaking day at Zoo, Montana. It was the annual Boo at the Zoo. It gave a reason for kids and parents to dress up early for Halloween. Roughly 5,000 turned out to the event, which has now become the zoo's biggest event of the year. It has a parade, plenty of activities, food. The kids had a chance to learn from a mad scientist, Jeff Ewell, some of the zoo's residents, too, on hand. The zoo has come a long way since its darkest days in 2012, and that's thanks to leadership and the community's support.
Over the past, we've had some struggles and we are on a comeback, and it's important for us to have these events and keep growing them. We are supported mostly by admissions, special events, and memberships and donations. We don't get any other money, so that's what we're supported by, and that's why you see us doing all these fun things and why we're able to keep growing, because people keep coming and helping us so we can continue to grow.
Now you can stay up to date with Zoo Montana by liking their Facebook page. Remember, Zoo Lights begins on December 8th. Still to come here on the Q2 10 o'clock news, several white nationalist groups held demonstrations on Saturday in Tennessee, sparking major police response and shutting down parts of two cities. We'll have that story in World Wrap next. And later in sports, after laying an egg last week, no way Rocky could go to Butte and beat Tech today, right? That's what you call a tease, folks. Stay tuned.
You're watching MTN News with Dustin Klemann, Storm Tracker weather with Rob Griggs, and sports with Casey Conlon. This is the Q2 10 o'clock news in high definition.